Good morning. Thanks very much for joining me for Marketing Monday. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution. It's Monday. We're ready to go start thinking about our practices. We've got our coffee ready to start the week in full today. I want to talk today about how to create content for your social media. This is one of the questions that I get really often when I'm consulting with new clients, and I ask the question, how do you create your content? What is your process for content creation? And very often the answer is, I don't have a process. I don't know how to do that. So let's talk about it today in Marketing Monday. If you're joining today, let me know where you are so I can say hello to you in the chat. And let's talk about content creation. Building really effective content on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, even for your podcast or your YouTube video, is one of those things that's really important to get right. You want to be posting correct content for your viewers. And so let's talk about that today. The content creation that you put together for your channel, your social media is, oh, sorry about that. Knock the camera. The content that you create for your social media practice is one of the great ways that you can really showcase your practice, your expertise, your knowledge. And that's why this is one of those important things. It really helps you to connect with the person viewing your content. And the better your content, the better you will be positioned to stay top of mind in a potential client's mind. And that's one of the reasons that this is so important. So let's talk today about three things. Let's talk about your topics. Let's talk about your forms, so the medium of your content, and establishing your content plan. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll stay tuned, continue watching. And again, put your comments in the chat so that I can know, what I'm connecting with you. That's important. All right. So content topics. The first thing that we want to do is kind of visualize who our primary target market is. And we get that solid in our minds, that psychographic, that demographic. We've talked about this previously. You can go back through the library and find these kinds of videos if you'd like, if you want a deeper explanation of this. But for the brief recap, your target audience represents sort of the general trend of people, of clients that access your services in your practice, and they view your content, right? So the idea is to focus your content strategy on this target audiences by discussing topics that you think would be appealing to them. And you use social media platforms that are frequently used by that demographic. So for example, if your primary target market is really active on Facebook, you need to be really active on Facebook. If they're on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn. If they're watching YouTube videos, you need to be a YouTuber. That's the idea of creating the right kind of content in the right medium for their comfort, their choice. And then the next thing is you want to think about topics that are relevant to both your practice and their interests, their concerns, their worries, their fears, their issues. What's relevant to them, and how can you address those things? So you want to write down a few ideas of interests that you want to maybe primarily focus on. Maybe it's diversity and inclusion or implicit bias. It could be how to make proper decisions under duress. It could be any number of things. But when you write down a list of the things that you think your target audience will be most interested in hearing about or learning from you, then you'll be able to more easily sort of guide the content creation and help keep a consistent, and this is important, a consistent and relevant content plan for your audience. You can always change it. You can always, let it evolve. You can always, deviate slightly from what you've laid out. So it's not rigid, But it is a really nice outline of what it is you want to talk about and how you want to deliver that information. It takes away so much stress when you sit down and create an outline, create a plan, and then you have something to follow. All right, next let's talk about the different forms and means of presentation that you can use for your content, for example, on LinkedIn. Interactive content like polls or question posts can be a really great way to get your contacts engaged. You might want to keep a portion of your social media marketing reserved just for this kind of conversational point. You want to, though, always keep a majority of your content brief and informative, right? Clarity and brevity, just like we practice in mediation, clarity and brevity. If you can help improve your connections' understanding of who you are, who we are, what you do, what we do, and how we do it, then it really gives them a reason to keep looking for your content on the platform. Again, you want to make it brief. You want it to be neutral, so unbiased points. You can talk about current events, current case law, but always provide educational, informative, applicable content, something that they can use, something that's actionable for them. And then you want to have visual arts background. And in the visual arts, you can, of course, you can outsource this to a company like mine, but you absolutely can do this on your own using an app like Canva, canva.com. It is my favorite go-to. This is not a sponsored video. I don't get anything if you sign up with Canva, but it is not only fun, but it's an incredibly professional way to create graphic backgrounds for this content that you've created. We always try to use graphic content when we're posting for our clients, and I would suggest that you do the same. It really makes your content stand out. If you don't like Canva, you could use Figma, Figma, or Freedom if you have a MacBook. That's a really good user-friendly tool as well. But play around, figure out what works best for you, what you're most comfortable using, and then make sure that this is something that you incorporate regularly into your posts. If you already have a blog, if you post articles, if you have a podcast or a YouTube video channel, you can include links to those platforms in your content on other platforms. So you can drive traffic with your posts back to your website or over to your YouTube channel, etc. You get that cross-pollination, which can really lead to some great interaction with potential clients and clients. Again, you always want to make sure that the content you post is of some benefit to the viewer, to the reader, to the watcher, to the listener. And LinkedIn is, it's such an incredible powerhouse for being able to do this. You can do what I'm doing, go live on LinkedIn. You can have an audio event, a podcast on LinkedIn. They have the multimedia newsletter that's available on LinkedIn. All of these are free. You just need to click on your profile that the creator mode is on, and then you can start using LinkedIn to do all of these things. You can also now on LinkedIn pre-schedule your posts. So from the outline that I talked about earlier, you can use your Canva, create your content, and then as you normally would make a post on LinkedIn, next to the blue post button, just to the left, is a little face clock. Touch on the face clock and you can schedule out your posts. You can choose a specific date and time to time release those posts. And by doing that, then you could sit down and in one concerted effort, create all of your content for a week or longer and get it posted, scheduled, and then it's off your plate, off your list of things to do for this week or longer. You can, always make a modest call to action on your posts. Ask a question, get people engaged, get them involved. Ask the question, put up the poll, see what people think. What are they thinking about? What resources do they use, etc. This is something right in our wheelhouse, asking the open-ended question. And a call to action, when I say that, I don't mean, sort of 1-800 call Natalie. these need to be, again, very modest calls to action. If you'd like more information, please feel free to reach out to me. That kind of call to action. That's what we're talking about. We don't want to be aggressive. We don't want to be spammy, and we don't really want to advertise. We want to publicize. All right. The next idea that I want to talk about is what medium you want to use, and that you need to put together this content plan. So the way that we do that with clients is we open our calendars. Canva's got a great one, but you could use Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar. You pick and choose what works best for you. Could be physical, paper calendar, whatever is best for you. And then you start mapping out the approximate dates and times that you want to post your content on LinkedIn or any other platform for the next 45 to 90 days. Most often, we try to post 2 to 3 times per week on LinkedIn. On other platforms, Twitter or Facebook, you can post every single day. And you'll know after those 45, 90 days by looking back at the analytics, maybe a best date and time, or day rather, and time to be posting your content, because you'll be able to follow the chart and see when you get best views, most readership, best number of comments, likes, shares, etc. But you can't follow those analytics unless you have something to compare it to, right? So how often do you want to post? Totally depends on you and the platform you're using, but you do need to map it out. It also, when you map out the content that you want to put together, in my opinion, it leads to better consistency. And that is one of the key things that we want to do, is be consistent. If you do Marketing Monday, you show up every Monday. If you post new case law on Tuesday, post every Tuesday. If you're putting up video content on a Friday, you want to put it up every Friday. So be consistent. Map it out. Also, think about coming up with your content weeks in advance, so that you really have enough time to think about it, make sure that it's appropriate, make sure that it's the right information, make sure that it's neutral information. If you're presenting, this is position A versus position B, make sure that they really are equal. And that happens with good preparation. So for each calendar event, you wouldn't want to start today's Marketing Monday this morning. You want to have had that content in the books, written up, outlined, thought about, researched a couple of weeks in advance, right? It takes away so much stress. All right. And of course, you can change. So if you're talking about the current case law issues that are coming, and then that case law doesn't turn out with the result that you thought that it would, you've got plenty of time then to pivot. You can change your article, you can change your position, right? But it's always good to start with a solid base. So that is pretty much it for figuring out your LinkedIn content, or any other content that you've got. Hopefully you now have a clearer idea of what you want to do, or what your comfort level would be in planning. I can just suggest once again that, if you've got a favorite platform, if it's not your client's favorite platform, think about switching. You can also stack platforms. So if you have a blog on your website, you could essentially read that blog into a video and have a video channel and a podcast channel from that same recording. So you can layer single assets, single articles, single thoughts, single videos in multiple different ways, so that you get the interaction that you're looking for. So that is it for me. Thanks so much for joining me for Marketing Monday. Hi, Paul. It's nice to have you here on Monday morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care. Be good humans. See you soon.